is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Kempo of Label Free Podcast. Live your best life. You must live label free. It is Friday here in Chicagoland. I'm very excited, and I am super just ready to have this great conversation with this amazing woman. She is out of Canada, our sister country above us. She's been widowed twice, which we have we have a synergy there. She's experienced some personal and financial loss through those events, which I can relate to as well. She worked for a Fortune 500 company and is now an entrepreneur of her passion project, BlueSkys Life. Please welcome Kristina Shea. Kristina, thank you for joining us today. Can you please introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about your background?
Yes, thank you for the warm introduction. That was very, very kind of you and just wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Kristina Shea. I always say Kristina with a K, Shea like the butter. Or
That's
the
what I
stadium.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, or the stadium. Because a lot of people say Shea, but anyway, yeah, so I guess I always say my story is kind of like a mini series Netflix drama, and I kind of joke about it, but it's not always been fun or funny.
Yeah.
But yes, and as you know, we both have lost someone that was dear and near to us, and I've done that. I've gone through that experience twice. But kind of to back up, so as you mentioned, yes, I lost a husband when I was 24 years old, and basically had to start from scratch. I had no idea who I was as a young woman. 24 years old, I'd been with him 10 years, so that was like a good portion of my life. I
Yeah.
remember looking in the mirror and not even knowing who I was. And then that term widow, because we're talking about labels here, that really kind of at that age especially, it was kind of like a strange term to be
Yeah.
called. Very, very, and even now, like people, widowhood. And then I remarried, and very too soon, to be honest. Like really, I was reeling from what I hadn't really mourned enough, or not. Who's to judge that really?
Right.
But I
Right.
hadn't really gone through what I needed to do. But I had met, he was a wonderful man in many ways. He was the father of my daughter, but he passed away in 2016. We actually had some, differences. So we weren't together throughout that whole period of time. We were separated, but we were still a best of friends. And he did his best to help me raise my daughter, Chloe. But it was really all responsibilities like fell on me. He was like the fun dad that would take her out to ice cream in Disney World, and I was the mom enforcing everything, and putting all the groundwork and paying the bills.
Yeah.
But he was a wonderful man in many ways. So anyway, I lost him in 2016, sudden heart attack. Both of them very sudden and unexpected. So no goodbyes, no closure, and just. And then my focus, of course, was to the worst moment of my life was really telling my daughter. That was I can't
Yeah.
even can't that was awful. And it's around Valentine's Day that he passed away, so it was double worse.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I focused on her, and really making her kind of go through. She's still going through it. I mean, it's an ongoing process, as you know, right? So I was working also throughout my career. I started as a graphic designer, which I still love design, and I love everything visual. And I worked for banks and financial institutions and then I kind of evolved from that, and from studio manager to small agencies, and working with production teams and freelancers, and managing up to a team of 10 to 12. And then later worked for Royal Bank and UBS as consulting, because I was doing a lot of consulting at the time as well. So I was running my own business because I wanted to hustle. I was the sole bread winner. It was definitely challenging. And then I was taking courses on top of it. I don't know. I think honestly, when I look back, I mean, I'm proud of everything I did and the accomplishments, but I think I was going in overdrive because I didn't want to deal with the loss that I was going through. But at the same time, it's just sort of my nature, I suppose, to always go for the gold. But I was really burning myself out. And it wasn't just really the courses, it was really the workload that was put upon me. So working in those cultures, I'll call them the bank or financial cultures, it does have a culture of achieve or leave, which isn't healthy.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
with all the stresses, I mean, I'm sure the stress that I was going through contributed to my health challenges, because I was suffering from migraines for years, like
Wow.
debilitating. Like I'd have to put like ice packs on my head
Well,
and literally go in a dark room and try to be a mom when you come home. It's
yeah.
not good. Yeah. So well, one day I was in the financial district and in the underground there, and I actually just collapsed. Like, yeah. So
That sounds
scary.
good, girl.
Yeah, some drama, right? Drama. But yeah, I joke about it, but it wasn't fun. And I was rushed to the hospital. They did a myriad of tests because I didn't know what was wrong, of course. And at that same time, I had lost my vision for, it was a period of 24 hours, but I had no idea why I lost my vision. It was just like dark. So the world was dark. I was panicking. I mean, I couldn't even imagine because I am very visual.
Yeah.
I still have some vision loss a little, but I mean, I'm perfectly fine. I can drive and all that stuff, but there's, yeah, so it's challenging. But I woke up and then they did all these tests and they put me through CAT scan and then they did an MRI and they actually found out, first they said I had brain cancer, which I thought
What?
I almost fell on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
we have it in our family actually, so it was not really shocking in
Ugh,
one way, but it was shocking, right? So I was
sure.
thinking the first thing that came to mind, who's going to look after my daughter?
How old were you when this was going on?
I have to think about that. I'm not so good with that. I'm nearly bad with age. It was probably, so I'm 48. I'm proud of my age, and my laugh
You
lines
look
and all.
beautiful. You look great.
Oh, so do you. I was going to compliment you when I saw you. I'm like, wow, I aspire to look like you. And
Oh,
lately I've been pretty lazy looking after the makeup and all that. I got lipstick on today. Anyway, that was a challenge. But that was probably 10. It was around the time that I had left. No, it was a bit after. It was a bit after that we were separated. So it was probably close to 10 years ago.
oh wow.
Not quite, maybe around that time.
So just
And
still but young. You're just young.
yeah, I was still very young.
Yeah.
So they actually determined that I had a brain cyst, which unfortunately it was, I mean, there's lots of, speculation on that, but really what was causing the migraines, it was causing pressure, it was causing brain fog, it was causing, but I mean, I was still very, very good at my job. There was nothing, I was very functioning, but it was taking a toll because then I would be exhausted by the end of the day and I'd have to go lie down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and from that experience, I started to realize, I had to change something. Now, I went through a lot of ups and downs trying to figure and navigate. Like they had given me an option to remove it surgically. I did decide not to, well, for a variety of reasons. But one, because they had told me that there was a risk of vision loss, maybe significant.
Oh,
It was one of the risks. And I, being self employed at that time, because I was running my own consulting for marketing and comm, and I thought, oh, what am I can't, I don't have any insurance. Like, what am I going to do?
right.
I, I was thinking, been through all this stuff. I'm like, with my luck, it probably would happen. So I decided to look at alternative routes. But in the meantime, I was like on a plethora of painkillers. And
Oh,
anybody who's been on, whether it's painkillers or if you're suffering depression, like, I don't know if you went through that with a loss, but you get on these meds, they become addictive. And I was on nasty things like opioids, and I was really quite addicted. I'll be honest, I was functioning. Nobody knew.
sure.
I was taking this, at night, and I never talked about this until the last year. So I had all these painkillers, and I remember talking to one of my friends, and she came over because I said, I need help tonight. And she was suffering from cancer, actually. So she helped me, but she said, you got to do something different. And I said, I've tried everything, right?
Yeah.
And so she introduced me to another holistic, another alternative to painkiller. And I don't know if you're comfortable with talking about it because some people are, they aren't, but we don't have to, it's not the main
Yep.
story. But
I have no issues whatsoever. Go for
okay,
it.
so
We are as
I,
honest and authentic as it can get here. That's it.
okay, awesome, good, because some people are not. So I was introduced to cannabis. Now I do not
Okay.
smoke. There's nothing wrong with it, to each his own. But I started using oil because it was ironic because she goes, because I said first I don't do drugs. So I
Yeah.
was like, what? She goes, what do you look? She looks at me like I'm like crazy, and she goes, you do drugs? Like, look at your bedside
Yeah.
table. Like, look at that. You got a drug pharmacy going on here.
Yeah.
You got
It
you,
is a different kind of drug.
yeah, you can deal them, right? Well, some of them do, some people do sell those on the market. But anyway, yeah, so I actually tried it and it worked. And I wouldn't say, it mitigated my need for it drastically. And then I started incorporating meditation,
Okay.
yoga, especially hot yoga. I found that specifically cathartic. Being in nature, I was incorporating all those things. I was being, to me, a much better mom. I was more involved, as much as more. I mean, not that I was a terrible mom, I was always there, but trying to do everything is hard, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to reduce my workload so it was a little bit more balanced. But then what happened was I got involved with a public company that was touching on the cannabis market, which was a passion of mine. So right again, then I'm back into that that whole cycle and it was just killing me, to be honest. And I was working like at least 60, 70 hours a week on average, and taking the work home, working late at night, getting up to do press releases at like ridiculous hours. Now, that was my volition, I suppose, but there was a lot of demands, and I'm just always passionate about what I do, so I put all myself into it, but I put too much. And again, I started having issues. I was diagnosed with hypertension, like severe. I was then went to the hospital. They said, I don't know how you're walking. You're going to have a heart attack. You're going to stay here, or a stroke. You're going to stay here overnight. So now I'm, everything. Now I'm trying to like really. That was like before the pandemic, just before the like during the middle. I was in the middle, the beginning. Everybody's timeline is different with that. Yeah. But so I really, again, BlueSkys Life. I'm going to go to that. Going through all those challenges in my life, I would always, even at 24 years old, when I remember lying on the grass looking at the sky, and I just saw these blue skies, and I thought, like, it was optimism, hope, and that's what it represented. And always, 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 I would always look to, it's going to be BlueSkys Life tomorrow, today. Even if there was storm clouds, like you have to appreciate the blue skies. You only can appreciate them if you have the storm clouds. Right. And if there's a bad day, I'm thinking, okay, tomorrow will be better, or even if it's next week. Yeah. So, and I went through definitely some depression and things like that, obviously through the loss, and I could dive deep into that, but it really was, to me, it's a story that I share now, because I never wanted to share my vulnerabilities or my cracks. I used to call it, like, I used to think of, like, I have all these cracks, and even an ex-boyfriend called me broken recently.
There's a reason why he's an ex.
Yeah. So anyway, I am not broken, and I would like to say to all women out there, or men, if anybody calls you that, that is very wrong. We are, and you don't have to be fixed. You're fine the way you are, but it's really a story I want to share to inspire other women, and specifically that you can get through it, and and to lead a purpose-led life. So that is why BlueSkys Life evolved. It's been a project that I've been wanting to do and launch for probably over 5-6 years. And it's all about wellness. And as I was going through this journey, I was also realizing all the toxins that we put into our bodies, that we eat, that we breathe, that we consume, and even the beauty products. Like, so the average woman, especially probably pre-COVID, but even now, between skincare and makeup, there's about 515 synthetics that we put onto our face and our body and our hair, and it does get absorbed into our bloodstream. So there is debate about how much that percentage is. There's this number of 60% gets absorbed, but even if it's 30%, it gets absorbed. And because of that, it's accumulative. So conditions like Alzheimer's, cancer, all these things. And, as women, we put all sorts of products that we don't know. We don't know or understand what's on them. You've heard of parabens, you've heard of phthalates, formaldehydes, and there's, other things like PFAs and all sorts of things that they stay in your system. So I became more educated. I'm still continuing that. And I'm looking to just share that with the world. So BlueSkys Life, we just launched phase 1, but I'll let you interject too, but it is about sharing non-toxic products, natural products, and we're about sustainability and giving back as well. So it's something, and I want to inspire women just to talk about and share their stories, but also live naturally, live well, live sustainably, and to really just inspire them no matter what their passion is. And BlueSkys is spelled with a Y, because it is all about your why and your purpose.
Deanna here with Label Free Podcast. I don't know if you've heard about this new, innovative, creative, convenient, diverse product called All Things Clean. So let me give you a quick demo. And I'm going to actually have my mom come in here with me. Mom, can you come here? Did you see how this is stuck to your wall effortlessly?
That is awesome. I am so excited. I just looking at this. Go ahead, put that up. Let me see how that works.
This is the one board they have. And so they have a whiteboard as well. And so here, you unroll it, and then you put it on the wall. Mom, you want to help me with this?
Sure.
And so all you do is put it on the wall. There you go. And now you can do whatever you want with the markers. So, Mom, what do you think this would be good for?
First of all, with work, the endless possibilities. Think about it. If you're at a trade show and you don't want to bring a lot of stuff with, you can put this up there. You can write some stuff on there. When you're at work, you have these impromptu meetings. grab this, slap it up on the wall, do some brainstorming, fixing
We have some birthdays
equipment.
coming up in our family.
Oh my gosh, happy birthday.
I think it's Louis, my nephew's birthday.
Happy birthday. Think about it, you would go around the whole room and people can come in and everybody can sign it. I'm really excited. I'm going to be using this.
I know, I'm very excited too.
Deanna, I want to see how easily this peels off. Let's just make sure. They say easy on, easy off. Holy cow, look at that.
You guys, have you not seen how great this product is? For at home, at the office, presentation, wherever. I have a special exclusive discount for you. They're giving me 15% off with free shipping and free markers. The code label15 at clingers.com. That's right, 15% off, free shipping, free markers at clingers.com.
And the possibilities are endless.
Woo, girl, that's a lot. That is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, and I've been through some stuff. But I mean, at 24 to become a widow, that's very young. I can't even imagine what that title or that label did to you at that place, that time in your life. Because I know. So when I lost my husband, I was 38. Because I'll be 45 this year. So 38. And I thought, man, I'm way too young.
I know. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's still it's not so much anymore. And like you said, you were just so busy. You were just like keeping yourself busy from actually dealing with the grief. So after he passed, I ended up like just diving into. I always wanted to be a fashion designer, so I just dove into that. I mean, I was successful in the regard that I built a great brand. I chased my dream. I made it happen, but I did not make it. I was not successful monetarily because I went in too fast, too much, too soon. And if I would have pulled the reins back and maybe have done just a couple designs at a time instead of doing like a whole collection, like I'm some big designer, I would have done a lot better. But when that was done, when I was like, oh man, I did my last collection. And like I was forced to kind of calm down, not be so busy. And I just remember like then that was when I'm gonna cry. That was when the grief set in. And it was just like for like probably about a month and a half or so, I just stayed away from everybody. Like I was unreachable. I was drinking a lot. I was just like, I was just sitting here and I just cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And, my husband relationships are hard. Right.
They are.
And a lot of relationships, a lot are toxic. I don't care what anybody says.
I totally agree.
There's not, I do not have like any real examples of perfect relationships. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be in a perfect relationship. I want it to be healthy, communicative. But, we're going to have bad days and we're going to take that out on our partner because that's just how we're programmed to be, and unless we learn how to deal with it differently. And, I just remember like that, like when I was forced to slow down and deal with those emotions and everything that had happened, because here I went from like this really large, not only did I lose my husband, my life partner, but I lost our whole lifestyle that we built together. Like,
exactly.
And it was, and I didn't even have to fill up my own gas tank, girl. Like I was very spoiled. And it was just a whole new world. I mean, I'm grateful for that lifestyle that I had and experienced. Was it worth some of the sacrifices I made? I don't think so. I look back now and I'm just like, I'm happier now today than I was then. My late husband and I, we were a power couple, total power couple. We did some amazing things together. We built an empire together. And, it was a real hard transition after I had to like really face it. And it was just like, shit, like, oh my God, I'm alone and dating sucks.
Oh my God. Yeah. That should be a whole other episode, widowhood and dating.
Yes, because men get freaked out if you tell them that you're a widow. So I stopped telling guys like,
guys tell them I was divorced.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's worse. I mean, I guess more people are divorced than you're a widow. I don't know. All I know is, I stopped telling them because it was just like, then I was like, oh, well, I was taboo. Like, oh no, don't want to be around her.
Yeah. I've had both reactions, like two reactions. Well, there's some people who are, empathetic, but it is part of who you are. So it's hard to not share that because you want to be authentic. But the other portion was, it was surprisingly, I've had some gold diggers. They thought that I had like this, like,
Yeah.
I didn't get any insurance. Sorry. Everything I have is because I worked for it. And, it's like, anything that is for my daughter anyway.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like that's disgusting. Like, that was often a question I was asked, not even just by men, but by women. Did you get insurance?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's just not appropriate unless you're my best friend and you're just concerned about my overall situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such I think there's a lot of judgment that people don't know. Like, when you're going through widowhood or being labeled as a widow, and yes, at 24 years old, I understand everything that you're saying, because other people are like, oh, did that really happen? They just don't get it. And I'm like, well,
No.
because they didn't live it. It's just like saying someone, who's undergone some other loss, they don't understand. But I think the judgment, and especially raising my daughter, I had actually, I had put her into a private school for 2 of her last years because she needed the real on support. And I wanted to make sure she was being supported in every which way. And she went to
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, which is a beautiful place. But I had women judging me. I had
Oh
the
yeah.
other side of the family trying to pull her, like convince her to leave and not do that. I mean, they don't know what you're going through. They don't know the decisions. And I knew that if I didn't do something right there and then, because she was going through so much, that I would lose her, that she might end up in God knows where with some boyfriend or something. You do what's right and you know what's right in your heart. But at the same time, when you're alone, like, I didn't know how, when at 24 years old, I didn't know how to fill my gas tank either. I didn't know how to put air in my tires. I still don't know how certain things, like how to hang a picture. That's one of my goals. I want to get a drill and I want to
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You'll figure it out really quick. Just watch a YouTube video.
Yes, exactly. YouTube will like teach you pretty much anything. But that label, as you saying, widow, and I remember trying to go to a support group, but everybody, I mean, there's no fault of those ladies, but they were much older, like 70s,
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. It's so, yeah, exactly.
And you're like, I just want to know, like, this is not for me. There's no relation here. They've lived a life with their partner, whether it be good or bad. I had like nothing. Like, I had a small snippet and then it was cut short. And then there's a different element because of the, losing Chloe's dad was, later. And then because we were separated, I had also people then judging me, like, because I did, the whole funeral, I did everything. And we had a double plot anyway, but on the gravestone, I had put beloved husband and father. And people like, how could you put beloved husband? I'm
You're
like,
honoring him though. Like that's just, I think that's the right thing to do. And so every year, like around my late husband's birthday, and when he, like the day, like around his birthday, I will always like, I'll post something. I'll post something on Facebook
yes.
and just to honor him. And I've gotten some backlash for that. And it's just like, regardless of what had happened at the end, does not dismiss the whole life that I had spent with him and all the life that we built together and the wife that I really was to him. And I've been very open and honest about my journey with all of that, what happened at the end, him being sick. And when you're dealing with someone, when your spouse becomes sick and you become a caretaker, it completely changes the dynamics. You
Totally.
don't look at your spouse the same anymore.
I totally
You do not look at them the same. And especially when it was like living with a ghost.
Mhm.
I mean, he wasn't alive. He was just like, he was barely hanging on. I was administering dialysis at home. We were in the hospital every 2 weeks. I mean, it was very traumatic. It was very traumatic. And so, and like I told you before we started recording, I did have an affair at the end. And
And lonely, and you're very lonely.
oh, extremely lonely. I didn't even realize how lonely I was, because you want to talk about just being pegged and just go, 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 go. Like I look back and I think about everything that I was doing and managing at that period of time. And I'm like, how did I do all that?
Mhm.
And so it just like when you get approached by a very attractive man that is willing to give you attention when you haven't had any attention in a very long time, your soul kind of was like sucks that up, like, oh my god, I'm attractive, really. Like I'm wanted. So it's like I'm only human, and I
Yes,
and
exactly.
and what had happened does not take away all those years that I was a great wife, a great partner, all that. And I have had to deal with what I did. I've had to deal with that. Like
Yeah,
what
personal
I've got, like,
guilt. But
pardon.
it's not, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't feel guilty because it's, and I know people judge,
Oh
but
God, yeah.
you know, you are a human being and all human beings deserve love, and not, you know, just because, you know, if you're especially caretaking, as you said, it's not the same person and you're not getting anything back and you're just lonely and you're actually, you're like a nurse maid,
Yeah.
right? And to have no support, I had no really family support during this. I was totally alone. And I have to say, I made some bad decisions in terms of who I dated too. I mean, I dated a lot of toxic, not all of them, but you know, people that were not good for me because I think I felt I didn't deserve it.
Girl, we could talk about this for hours. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of layers there that we can pull out. Let's just focus on your brand really quick before we wrap things up. Where can so it is a so you're a woman's holistic natural health and wellness you products. And you're female focused to provide well-being, mindfulness, calm, small indulgences and inspiration. You are totally inspiring. You've inspired me. I love it. Where can people find you, support you, buy your products, and all that good stuff?
Yes, so you can reach me or you can find us on online, obviously, www.blueskyslife and .com. So blueskyslife.com. And remember that skies is spelled with a Y. So it's all about your why, your purpose, your passion. So that's why it's spelled with a Y. Instagram, Facebook, again, at Blue Skies Life. And just to reiterate what Blue Skies quickly is all about, I mean, we kind of went on a tangent talking about widowhood and labels, but Blue Skies is all an inclusive, modern lifestyle wellness brand. We just launched phase one, which is the non-toxic, sustainable products. We have everything from, my last name is Shea, so of course I had to have a lovely shea butter collection. We have lavender, lemongrass, all sorts of things, but we also have some beautiful sustainable beauty skin serums, rosehip serum. We have orchid eye serum that I'm launching next week. We have some beautiful hair care products as well. And we also have some Turkish towels, again, sustainable.
I don't know if you can see that, guys, but
Yes,
really
exactly.
cool products. I was taking a look at that. Yeah, very cool.
And organic silk kimonos. They're mulberry silk and they're just stunning, timeless. They'll last you a lifetime. They're just stunning. They're made by a Canadian artist here. And I'm working with her actually to create an exclusive line of my own as well. But beautiful. And as I said, they're mulberry silk, which is the most highest quality silk you can get. And all the core values of Blue Skies Life, just to reiterate, because many of the companies I work with are female led. I only work with ethical trade. Sustainability is a key component from, you know, the raw ingredients to the packaging, you know, as much as possible. And also we are definitely advocates for women's equity and those who identify as women, very LGBTQ friendly. I'm a supporter of that because I do have brothers who are in that space. And I just feel like love is love. And Blue Skies Life is all about love, and love yourself. And that love will then spread to the rest of the world and others, and it'll just make the world a better place.
Oh my gosh. Kristina, you're amazing. We're gonna have to have a round two because I think there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about that actually I think the our audience, some of the women out there that follow me and other people might would like to hear just hear more of that story and how we've gotten over it because it is hard. Do you have any last words of wisdom or advice you like to leave with the audience before we say goodbye?
I'll give a couple nuggets, I guess, because we're talking about toxic people, but I like my products non-toxic, and I also like my people non-toxic.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. As women, sometimes we give too much, and just keep yourself clean, keep yourself healthy, invest in your health. Wealth is your health, especially these days. We know that is essential. And my last one, I just would say, I say this a lot, but I hope that kindness will be the next contagion. And spread kindness wherever you go. It'll always flow back to you. And I guess really that's where I'll leave it. And live your Blue Skies life. That's what I would like to leave it.
Beautiful. I love it. All right, you guys, this is your host, Deanna Kemple with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, follow, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.